Well, good everybody. Here we go again. So the big shift for Penduic didn't actually happen as the way we thought it might yesterday. The weather slowed down a bit, but I'm interested to see what this current position is going to do. I think Penduic will now be about to take off, but Translated and so on have hooked around the corner. Translated and Spree to keep, so it's pretty interesting stuff going on. Nothing in the way of dramatic tweets that I need to talk to you about. Everything's sort of happening. We've got our rib Mona over in Cows ready to go, and people moving in on the weekend, getting ready to receive the first boats. And the ETA is the big challenge, because until they get up around by the Azores, it's very hard to predict exactly when they get there. Anyway, let's get straight into the tracker and see exactly what's happening. Kind of interesting, we mentioned that the weather's all a bit strange right now, and if we even looking down here in the South Atlantic, there's no real South Atlantic high here at all. It's kind of all a bit strange all over the place there. I mean, the weather's always debatable. It's never right and never does the usual thing, but there's no question there's some funny things going on. And even when we look here, there's no real defined Azores high. This is probably the next one coming across now, and that may do something, but it's been dominated by this confused area of low pressures and bits and pieces all over. There's the Azores right there, and once the boats get up there in the days ahead, then you can pretty closely predict what their ETA might look like. So at the moment it's been fluctuating between the 10th and 13th, and now it's looking like maybe the 11th, possibly the 12th, but we'll have to wait and see. So have we got we got the new position. So no, she's still not going very fast. That's interesting. All right, so let's have a look here. We'll start at the bottom end, as much as I'm tempted to get up there and have a look at Penduic, see what's going on. Explorer should be flying at about 7 knots, and she's doing 5. It all comes down to the issue with the sheared furling headsail system. So you've got a reefing drum, and normally the spar going up the forestay is connected to that reefing drum, but they actually spun it out and it's sheared, so it's not connected. Now it's tied up with duct tape and rope to stop it moving, which means they have to have at least 2 wraps on the genoa, on the forestay, the reefing gear, to keep it secure. And when you do that, you use up the foam in the luff to take out some of the full-bodied shape, so it's usually hanging there like a bag of wheat a little bit. Not fair on the sailmaker, it's not their fault, but anyway, that's the speed they've got. They've got 5.1 knots and did 102 mile a day, so they're going to be a while heading up towards Cows. Sterner, on the other hand, is doing 6.8 knots, did 150 mile a day. That's not too bad, with 2,850 to go, so that's not so bad for second to last. White Shadow 5.7. That's everyone's sort of slowing down a little bit, but anyway, 138 mile a day. Triana is cleared out a little bit, 6.6 knots, 160 mile a day. So they've actually made miles on White Shadow. Evrika 7.9 knots, 172 nautical mile a day. And just spoke to Tapio. They're all happy on board. Everything's working. So doing 6.9 knots and 160 mile a day as well. And you can see they're going into an area of not much wind. And this is interesting. You could see Maiden. She just bolted and right on top of Helsinki at the moment. That was interesting to watch, because she was lagging right behind before. Anyway, Outlaw 7.2 knots and 172 mile a day. Still going pretty quick, because it's showing as if there's not much wind here, but it must be inconsistent. So Maiden 6.2, 122 mile a day. Certainly caught up a bit there. And, hang on a sec. What's going on there? That's interesting. No, yeah, that's okay. I thought they might have been a different date, but because it's unusual. Anyway, the Spirit of Helsinki doing 6.6 knots, 91 mile a day. Yeah, they didn't move very far at all. They got bogged down in the hole. So anyway, it's there now. I just want to check to see that we had the right positions there. Yep, and that's the right one for Explorer. Yep, okay, it's all 12 o'clock, so that's cool. Yeah, so they're on top of each other. Only 2-1-6-6 to the finish, and 2-1-4-7. 20 miles difference, so it's about 20 miles apart. Not too bad at all. Now, this was the big issue. By the look of things yesterday, it was suggesting pretty clearly that this connection between the band of wind that was here and the big low pressure system up there was going to join a lot quicker than it is now, than it has been. This is the weather for now. Hang on, one more. Okay, that's the weather for now. You can see now it's absolutely joined together, but this morning Penjuic was hardly moving and still showing hardly moving, and I have no idea why, because that's the current weather. They got plenty of breeze. There was a situation where, because I was following it on Windy, where they ran out of breeze, but they went over the hump. There was a hard line here of breeze, and there was nothing over it, so they were sailing quite well, sevens last night, and then all of a sudden they parked. But now I'm wondering whether there's something else happening here, because as I say, if I pick that up there, that's the weather right now. There's plenty of breeze there, and they shouldn't be doing 2.5 knots. So I'm wondering whether something's happening on board and they haven't told us, or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Over here, translated 9 showing 7.8 knots, and translated's doing 8.4, and the speed of keep's doing 7.8, right alongside each other. So the speed of keep is still just a little bit in front of translated. You can see it here, a couple of big jumps, so not far apart at all. Translated did 153 mile day. The speed of keep did 134 mile day. So, but they're both doing pretty well. But you know what's going on with Penjuic just does not make sense. So I'll have a look at Windy in a minute and just confirm again that she's in about the right spot. So it's near enough to 28 degrees north and 29.38. In fact, we'll jump across right now. I come back here, and if I hit this one there, okay, we're on Windy, and it was 28, so I now need to go to Windy. Here we go here, 28.6.8. Now this is a fair way back. This is 4 o'clock this morning, 4 or 5 o'clock, and you can see this was this hard band where Penjuic, see that? There we go. Penjuic was sailing up here nicely and just sailed over the edge of it and parked. All right, so this was at 6 o'clock in the morning. If we keep bringing this, there's 9 o'clock, and you can see what happens is that even without that moving, it's starting to fill in completely. And so this is the weather now, okay? And I can see a little bit of a dip, but there is a clear level of breeze all over, and I'd be, it'd be severe bad luck if they're sitting in a hole somewhere in this lot. If we look at the other models, that's the ECMWF. So GFS is still showing plenty of breeze there, 14 knots. Icon showing 14 knots. ECMWF showing 13 knots. So wherever we go here, there's breeze all the way through. So they got 13 knots from the southwest. There is no way that Penjuic is going to be doing 2.5 knots. So something's up, and I don't know what it is yet, but maybe they'll let us know. And I'll get Jane to check for tweets right now. No, she's shaking her head. No tweets there. So we'll play it by ear. And as for the future here, you can see this whole breeze here is filling in pretty quickly. And this is where we thought Penjuic would be streaming away. And there's some yellow there, so it's getting up to 20 knots, which is pretty good. Now, the speed of keep and translated are down here somewhere. And this is another reason I would have thought that if Penjuic's moving, she would have hooked onto this and started to pull away. She was 250 miles ahead of translated yesterday afternoon, but now it's all dissolved. So while we're here, we might as well just have a quick look at what's happening. The other thing that happens here, of course, is that this breeze leaves a big hole behind, and that's where the others are going to get left in Penjuic's wake, which is what we said on the news the other day. There's a bit of a high pressure here that's possibly going to be the next Azores high coming off, right? That's it there, and that's probably going to join up. All of this is going to join up maybe. So we'll just drop this through. He goes to Thursday and then Friday. So you can see there was a fair bit of no wind left there behind it, and meanwhile Penjuic would have been onto this lot roaring up towards England, and the trade winds they're holding there for the others. So now I will press the right buttons here, and we'll go back to the tracker. The tracker, there we go. Okay, so we're back on the tracker there. So I'm back here. We'll just drop it down and down another one, and we'll see what the weather does over the next couple of days here, and we'll see how it affects these guys. So that's the weather around about now. And as I say, very strange, because Neptune's doing okay, 7.8 knots, 135 mile day. But Outlaw should have no wind, and they're doing 7.2 and did 172 mile day. Maiden only managed 122, and Helsinki, but they're all moving. So that's a plus. Okay, so we're now in position. We should be able to see what's happening here as we click it through. So you can see there straight away within 6 hours, this area of no wind has got really intense. And I don't think that in 6 hours they're going to be enough to get over here. Neptune should, but this is where the others may start to get trapped. But let's just wait and see. It's moving pretty fast, but there is some definite no wind zones there, quite extreme. So Outlaw, who knows what. Galliana is coming up the back here, and so on. So the middle fleet, these guys will keep sailing, but I think these are going to slow down. So that's 24 hours from now. That's what you're looking at there. And to put it into perspective again, if I blow that up, you can see it's hard to push through this lot here. So, and by then, 24 hours from now, we've got the Vrika and so on up here, and Galliana will be coming into the no wind zone. So now, that's established. We know the guys up the top are sailing, and it's starting to fill in a little bit. So it should be right, although this is bordering on headwinds for Galliana. But that's on the 5th. It's coming up to 48 hours. So in 48 hours, it's all looking interesting. They should all be moving by then, but you can see here, Jeepers, Penduic and Translated and stuff, they should be roaring up here, heading towards, back towards England. So, okay, and Explorer and so on, they'll be in the trade, so it's pretty straightforward, or getting soft. Yeah, she can't point to windward, so it's going to be going way out here somewhere, and there's going to be a lot of windward work over the next 4 or 5 days, 6 days for Explorer, so that's not good. They're suggesting they might get in about 28th of this month, but I think it'll be into May. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so the leaderboard. Let's have a look at what's happening here. Okay, pull that up there. So, we're straight onto IRC. We better check line on first. Penduic, Spirit of Keep, under 2,000 miles. So normally that'd be 200 miles a day. It's sort of 10 days. It's the 3rd now. That's the 13th. But when they get into that breeze, they should get a couple of big days, 250s and stuff. So it's still probably the 12th, but let's wait and see. The Spirit of Keep, Translated, they're all very close to each other. Only 3 miles difference between the Spirit of Keep and Translated on distance to the finish. So that's not too strange. 2,148 for Spirit of Helsinki. So about 50 miles behind Translated, that's all. And then Maiden, 167. So all of these boats are in touch. Then you go to Neptune and so on. IRC. Let's have a look. So Translated are back in the hunt because Penduic hasn't gone anywhere there. Again, this is a time on distance situation, depending on the boat speed, that'll determine what the estimated finish time is. So it's still a little bit confusing, but Translated 9 holding first in IRC, and then L'Esprit de Keep 50 days. 10 hours later is Outlaw, and then 1 hour later is Penduic. And then it goes down the line, Maidens of 51.8, so a couple of days, 2 to 3 days behind Translated 9. We should have a look while we're here at the overall IRC rankings. So stand by and we'll get them up just to see how Triana are going, what they've got left in the bank. So here we go. This is combined results. So Triana is still there, and Maiden is still breathing down their neck, but they're still holding pretty much 3 days. That's hard to beat. But touch wood, never over to a fat lady sings, as they say. We've heard that a few times. Jeepers. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. Spirit of Helsinki is only 2 days and 10 hours. 2 days and 10 hours behind Maiden. Is that realistic? That could change. You never know. When the wind pipes up, you could get there, but it's looking pretty settled. There's quite a gap there for the whole lot. Galliana would secure 88 days. That's 7 days behind Triana. That's too hard. It's impossible. Touch wood if everything goes smoothly. So Triana's still carrying the can and still looking in a strong position, even though they're not. They've still got a few challenges ahead yet. But Maiden's still a little bit in that same wind zone, that same lack of wind and the confusing bits. So they're both facing similar challenges. So it's hard to say, but Maiden's got everything to gain, nothing to lose. Triana's got everything to lose, and they've got to hang on to Maiden. So that's it. Anyway, going down the line, then you've got Outlaw, Neptune, the Spirit of Keep, Evrika, White Shadow, and then you've got the others that are out of it, which is Translated, Sterner, and Godspeed, and Explorer. Don't exist in the overall rankings because they retired from one leg of the race. Okay, so that's that. We'll come back here now to me and say g'day to everyone that's there. See who's here and what's happening. I'm just about finished the notice of race, by the way. It will be finished by tonight, but Cheapers is so confusing cross-checking because we changed the format. Anyway, okay. Hi, Captain Joe, Nigel, Kathleen, morning. Stefano, g'day. Elizabeth, g'day. Oh, no questions. That's cool. There's Laura. Hi, g'day, Laura. Is overall results at current positions? Yes. Overall results are at current positions in leg 4. So in other words, they take the performance results from leg 4 and they tack that on to the final results for leg 1, 2, and 3. Add it all up, and that's what you get. How can Maiden win IRC? In overall for the whole race, all she's got to do is try and get in front of Triana, because Triana's got a big lead because they did well on all 3 legs. Like a good performance. They didn't win any, but they were. No, they did. They won leg 3. Sorry, but others won other legs, and but consistently high. Count them up, and they're most consistent. Translated 9's gone, and things like that. So Maiden just has to go really hard and fast to the finish. Try and get a long way from Triana. She's got to try and take 2 days out of Triana, and that will be hard. But there's still one weather system to go. Maiden's facing it now, and then Triana have got to get the other side of it, and then it should be consistent all the way through. But you never know. You just never know. So we'll just have to wait and see. That's it. Okay. All right. So thanks for that. We'll see you tomorrow, and all of a sudden it'll be the weekend, and then we head to England. Jeepers, time is flying.